semi-stage here, the writer and director, Ben Ratner. Three of our lead actresses, Gabrielle Miller, Jennifer Spence, and of course, Helen Shaver.
We're old friends. This is my family. I like you to meet my family.
So we're going to throw it out to the audience momentarily, but I have a couple of questions I just wanted to start off with. And first was to you, Ben. When I first saw the screener of this, I thought it was I couldn't figure out. It was like a thesis on women and a love letter to women all thrown together and written, directed by a man. So how did you accomplish such a feat? When most men don't understand even one women that they live with. How did you do it?
I never claimed to understand. Let's get that clear. I don't know, but no, the film was, a lot of you guys know Babs Chula. So the film was inspired to a large degree by Babs, and the film was inspired by all the actors, all the women involved in the film. The parts were written for them. Originally, I didn't know that I could get Helen to do the film, but as I was writing the script, I was gradually convincing her to do the film. So I started writing, really thinking about Helen saying those words. So that helped a lot. Being married to an actress myself, to Jen, helps a lot. And where's Melissa? Melissa here. I'm going to get all choked up, but I got to tell you, one thing for me is I'm an acting teacher, and I've spent a lot of years doing that. And a lot of years, and for every 3 guys in class, there's 7 women. And women work harder. And it's just they got a tougher road ahead. And I remember around the time I was conceiving the script, Melissa here and Melanie, a woman named Melanie, were doing a scene in class, and they just blew everyone's minds. They just blew everyone's minds. Everybody was just speechless, and their hair was standing up. And because there's just something that women can bring to art that's extra primordial or something. I don't know what it is. But I just figured if women played these parts in this movie, then the stakes would be even higher. And it was also a way of me separating myself from the characters, because there's some of me in all these characters too. So I think that answers that.
Scorsese said when they asked Scorsese after Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, I mean, you're directing this film about a woman. What do you know about women? He said, I know nothing, but I'm very curious. Which I think is what you just said.
Now, Helen, I'm interested to know how you did get involved, because you have been mostly behind the camera now for many years. And
For the last decade, yeah.
Last decade. So what was it about this script, and how did it come to you?
Ben called me on the phone, got my number from somebody. And he called me on the phone, and he's, I think Eskimos would be buying snow from him, He was very passionate and very, he was really revved up about it, and we talked, and I don't know, after about 20 minutes or so, I said, okay. All right, I'm in. But I got to see a script, and which then became the process that he talked about. And for me, it came at a time where I had spent, Karen's here, she was my beautiful production designer on the 10 months of the firm, the 22 hours that we did of that. And it had been a really grueling 22 hours of filmmaking, 10 months of, and there was something that that had all the opposite of this. It had all the money and all the, it was sold to 157 countries and territories, and it had about 33 producers, and it had all of that stuff, and got all caught up in the politics as opposed to the doing. And so this was a really great thing for me to kind of come back to basics, cleanse the palate, and get back to my roots, and to find out whether I could do what I asked my actors to do, which is show up and bring their heart, bring their soul, tell the truth.
And certainly there's a lot of really raw emotion, and I wonder if this film was any different for you all as actors, and maybe more so for you, because you've been doing it a lot recently. But even for you, Helen, Helen to have come back to something like this. You know, actresses are always saying that there are few good roles for actresses, and you've given us a gem of, you know, 4 amazing roles in one film. So what was it like for all of you? Did you feel like this movie was special? It certainly came across as it was.
Yeah, most definitely. It was special. There was so many different aspects of it that were full and felt like everybody involved was there because they felt passionate about the story, and there was a lot of personal connections. I loved the script. Firstly, you read a script, and that's the most important thing to kind of get you excited about doing a project, but there were all of these other deeper connections because of Babs. And Ben I've known for many years, and we have worked together, and we've been friends, and Ben's been my coach. So, and Ben and I were both on Babs's, the board that we created with Babs when she was going through her treatments and stuff. So I was, you know, delighted and very excited to be able to work with Ben and all of these incredible women. It was nice because it was a small crew. Like we were just, it was like a pretty intimate little group, you know.
Jennifer?
Yeah, no, what she said. No, totally. And I mean, in addition to it being such a special project for all of us and how much we all had emotionally invested into it, just even from like a selfish actor point of view, it was just so wonderful to get to play a role where I get to do something, you know. It just was so wonderful to be a part of a story that you can do that with, and I'm sure you've all heard that a lot, but for women, it's tough. It's not that often, as indicated in the film. So it was a tremendously rewarding experience.
There's also something about when you're doing, at least for myself, I had no expectations about opening a film in Toronto. I mean, I was not making this movie to open a film. I was not making the movie to sell it to a distributor. I was not making the movie for any of those reasons. It was more like writing a poem. You know, like I write poems, but I don't write them for money.
For anybody.
I don't write them for fame. I don't write them so that you'll like me or think I'm fabulous. I just write them because I need to write them. And at the core of an artist's work, I mean, why on earth would we get up and do what we do? You know, yes, and so when you strip, you know, and hopefully when you're working for money or for whatever other reasons, at the core of your work, you have a practice, and so your work and your practice, which is your spiritual growth, which is how you are evolving through your lifetime, are one thing, and you bring that to whatever work. But this was a piece that had no expectations, none of the, you know, I mean, it would have been nice had we had some expectations, I suppose, with, you know, Warner Brothers saying, hurry up, we got a release date, and it's going into all this, you know, that's great on one side, but on the other side, this was simply about doing the work, at least for me, and I believe it was. You know, I mean, Ben had another deep emotional connection and a need to write the piece and to direct the piece for his own development as a human being and as an artist that is connected to Babs. But when we were in the room together, it wasn't about Babs, or it wasn't about any of those things. It was about doing the work, right? I mean,
I think at different moments, it was about different things for different people, but we were all headed in the same direction.
yeah.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Right over here.
Hi, I'm Jean Stillwell. And,
Oh, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. What did Babs teach you that inspired you to make this movie?
Well, a lot of things. Maybe one of the best things is she never consciously taught me anything. She was just being Babs. She never sat me down and said, I'm going to teach you something. I think some of the most, there's too many things to say. One of them would be to be aware of your own greatness and also be aware of your own weakness, and to be comfortable with both of them, as comfortable with those opposite sides as you can, and to be humble and to be proud. Another one is treat everyone the same. Babs always treated everyone the same. People, you know, she treated the production assistant the same as she treated the executive producer. And when people do that, you know, we do seem to live in a better world. As far as art goes, she believed that if something doesn't make a profit, it doesn't mean it's without value. You know, profit and value are not the same thing. Those are some of the things. She taught me to roll a good joint, a good tight joint, but not too tight. You know, lots of things.
Very crafty.
You know.